All right, it's the last round of questions. Let's see what they have for me here. Can you pronounce... The answer is no. The answer is no. Can you pronounce Mamukelashvilli? No, I can't. Even when I listen to his games and I watch his film, I feel like the announcers are struggling to announce it. But I just call him Sandro M. I really like his game. I think he's like an interesting prospect because he's a very skilled guy. He's slow, doesn't have ideal athleticism, but he's a good passer. He can post up, he can shoot, he can play the mid-range, he can score off action plays, he can be like your point forward. He just lacks the ideal athleticism, vertical pop, and foot speed that you need. And even though I said he can play in the post, he's not necessarily a post player. He likes to pass out of the post, but he's a very unique prospect in a sense because of everything that he brings to the table. But I like him a lot. I don't know where he gets drafted or if he gets drafted, but I think he's a guy that I could see playing in the G League next year. All right, the next question. Is Cade Cunningham a generational talent? How do you define generational talent? I believe Cade is going to be a perennial all-star. I think he's going to be the best player on a team. And I think he's a franchise player. But like I said, it all depends on how you define a generational talent. Because just a few years ago, some considered Ben Simmons a generational talent. And I'm curious to see if at this date right now in 2021, is Ben Simmons considered a generational talent? I mean, I remember seeing the comparisons to Magic Johnson. I think Ben is very good. He's going to be an all-star for probably the next 8 to 10 seasons at the very minimum. I think that he's going to always be on good teams. But again, would you consider him a generational talent? So I guess it's just kind of like a matter of how you define generational talent. Hopefully I answered that question. The next question is thoughts on Dalano Banton. All right, you see my hat. I'm born and raised in Nebraska. Got my Go Big Red hat on. Oh, I guess on the podcast you can't see it, but I have on a Nebraska hat. I'm probably a little bit biased, but I like his combination of size. I like his passing ability, court vision, all of that. I guess passing ability and court vision is the same thing. But I like his combination of size, ball handling, and passing. He definitely has a skill set that I think should draw interest, or that should interest NBA teams. He needs to bulk up and improve his shooting, but I like him. I think he's a definite NBA prospect. Next question. I guess I keep saying all right. Is Drew Timme an NBA player? Now this is kind of a tough question. I actually saw Drew work out a couple days ago. And the interesting thing with Drew is I might post a video. I got to make sure I get permission to post it. But Drew was working out with Kofi Cockburn, and then there was another young kid that was at the workout. Now, if I didn't know anything about basketball, right, or I didn't know the names, and I just went and watched this workout, I would probably say Drew was the least impressive of the three. And I had a chance to watch Drew play pickup last summer, and he was playing pickup in the gym in Fort Worth, and he was not, the most impressive player there. But something about when the lights turn on and when there's people in the crowd, Drew is a gamer. I would much, much rather have a gamer than a guy that is nice in warm-ups. Like if you watch him during, a workout, I mean, he's not going to wow you with great athleticism. He's not going to wow you with being a lights out shooter. But dude is super skilled. He was arguably the best player on Gonzaga's team. You can make a case and say he was one of the best players in college basketball last year. He gave Evan Mobley some fits there. I like Drew a lot. I think for him to be I think he is going to be an NBA player at some point, but I think the step for him to maximize his ability is to become a better floor spacer, which he's been working on. He shot the ball pretty well at this workout. He's not necessarily a knockdown consistent shooter, but again, like I said, if the lights are on and there's people in the crowd, Drew Timme I mean, he's a bucket. He's been that way since he was in high school. So, again, hopefully that answers your question. All right, thoughts on Ron Harper Jr. If you look at him, he physically doesn't pass the eye test. He has a unique frame. Put it like this. Remember Jay-Z had this line, and I want to say it was Takeover. He had a spark when he started. I'm not going to finish the rest of the line, but I believe that Harper had like 25 points or more, maybe like 4 of his first 6 or 7 games. And then he only had 1 game after that with over 21 points. I don't know if teams figured him out. I mean, there's some, obviously there's some reasons behind that. I think that in order for him to be I think he's an NBA prospect as is, but I think that he may need to come back to school, slim down, because honestly, he just doesn't necessarily pass the eye test. And as far as like the eye test again, if you look at his shot, I think it's one of the prettiest shots in college basketball. It just doesn't go in at the efficiency of the beauty. But yeah, I think he shot like 31% from 3. So that's my thoughts on him as an NBA prospect. All right, worst predictions. Oh, man. All right, let's go with Kawhi Leonard. I thought Kawhi Leonard was going to be at best like this undersized energy guy coming out of San Diego State. He was a power forward, like a 6'7" power forward who was a really good rebounder. I thought he showed a little bit of flashes of skill, but definitely did not see him being where he is today as a top 10 player in the NBA. And obviously 14 teams passed on him. And I don't even know if the Spurs thought he was going to be as good as he is. So that was probably one of the worst predictions because I thought the Spurs made a mistake at drafting him, or Indiana drafted him and then San Antonio traded, I believe it was George Hill for him. But I thought it was a mistake. I didn't think it made a lot of sense for him and Tim Duncan to play together at the time. And boy, was I wrong about that. Another one is Alex Len. Now, this is kind of really embarrassing to say. I thought Len was going to be nice. I really thought Alex Len was going to be a stud in the NBA. Obviously, I want to say Phoenix did too. They drafted him pretty high. I think he's talented. He just hasn't been able to like really put it together. But I saw him as this skilled, tough, big, that was a good shot blocker. I thought he was going to be able to stretch the floor. At Maryland, he showed some ability to knock down mid-range shots. And boy, was I wrong on that one because, again, I thought Alex Len was going to be nice. All right, this is kind of funny. Rank the Jalens. It depends on what day of the week, but I'm going to go Suggs, Green, Johnson. Okay, I knew I couldn't get too far without someone asking me a crazy question. This question it was in my DMs. Best white player in the draft. Austin Reeves from Oklahoma. I like Austin, man. He has some soul to his game. He's fun to watch. But, I mean, do you consider Turkish players white? If you don't, then I'd have to say Franz Wagner. I don't know. That's kind of a weird question. All right, where does Luka Garza get drafted? Second round at best, and it just kind of sucks for him because he was born in the wrong era. If this were 2000, he's probably a top 10 pick. But when I say it sucks for him, not only does it suck that he was born in the wrong era, but he came back to school. Like, he had a dominant junior year. I feel like he won, like, so many awards. I think he won like Player of the Year. He was Big Ten Player of the Year. He was first team All-America. He had just like this crazy accolade-filled junior year. He comes back, pretty much posts the same number. He improved as a three-point shooter, and it did, in my opinion, absolutely nothing for his draft stock. So I really hope he enjoyed the college experience. You know what? He could be like this rare prospect that goes from college straight to the EuroLeague. I wouldn't, be too surprised to see it happen. But I don't know if he'll get drafted. But if he does, like I say, to be in second round, unless something like out of the ordinary happens. Like I didn't see Azubuike from Kansas last year as a first round pick, and he ended up being selected in the first round. I haven't seen him play an NBA minute. I'm sure he has. I missed it, but yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened. All right, this is my last question. If I didn't get to your question, I'll try to get to it next time. I think I'm going to do this a little bit more. Actually, I'm having fun doing it. And this question is, it's perfect. It's perfect the way to end this episode. Who should the Blazers pick? All right. I'm a Blazers fan, if you didn't know. I feel like taking... Let me make sure I'm correct on this. I think I am correct. Yes, this is correct. All right. I feel like the Blazers franchise would be in a much different situation. I mean, you've seen all the rumors about Terry Stotts on his way out. The Blazers defense is not very good. I feel like taking Zach Collins over Bam Adebayo was a franchise-altering decision. Now, a lot of people didn't see Bam being the player that he is today. And Zach Collins has been injured. He's still young. Hopefully he can get healthy and maybe he can be the player that the Blazers selected. But I feel like if the Blazers would have taken Bam over Zach, it would have addressed a lot of the needs that Portland has. Bam is an additional playmaker. He would give the Blazers, who are always ranked near the bottom of the league in assists, he would give the Blazers another passer and as a playmaker. And then he would address the needs on defense. He would be able to switch out on the perimeter and, defend guards while also being able to be a pretty solid rim protector. He would literally give the Blazers everything that they need to, in my opinion, make them a legitimate championship contender. So with all that being said, I'm hoping Isaiah Jackson from Kentucky is available and he has this Bam-type impact. And maybe he has something to his game that we weren't able to see at Kentucky. So that would be my answer right there. Isaiah Jackson from Kentucky. Tremendous shot blocker, athletic, bouncy. Again, I'm hoping he's like one of these guys from Kentucky that, he has the skill set that we didn't get a chance to see while he was in Lexington. So, depending on where the Blazers pick and if he's available, Isaiah Jackson will be my choice right there. And Portland, I wanted you to draft Saddiq Bey last year. He's looking good in Detroit, but it was part of the Robert Covington trade, who's been, a good defender, which is expected, like this rare shot blocking or rim protecting wing. So I guess I can't be too mad at that. But Isaiah Jackson, if he's available, please select Isaiah Jackson. Well, that wraps up this edition of Locked On NBA Draft. I had fun doing this mailbox thing. I'll probably do it maybe like once a month, maybe more. It was fun answering the questions. Nothing too crazy or too ridiculous. Once again, this is Raphael, Locked On NBA Draft Junkies, and I'm out.